The Galactic Empire was vast, ancient, and ruthless, stretching across star systems with a dominance forged in centuries of subjugation and control. They viewed themselves as the galaxy's natural rulers, a race elevated above all others. Their disdain for outsiders, especially for the relatively new and primitive humans, was palpable. To them, Earth was a young and impetuous world, lacking in what they considered the sophistication of more established civilizations. Yet humanity had achieved much, and Earth's rapid technological and societal advancements had brought them into the Empire's sights, not as an equal, but as a potential threat. Diplomatic channels were established, albeit reluctantly, as a means of maintaining a delicate peace. Humans, for their part, saw this as a chance to prove themselves worthy partners in galactic society. Amidst these tenuous relations, a summit was arranged on the neutral planet of Tanar IV, a place chosen to signify mutual respect. Humanity sent their finest diplomat, Ambassador Elias Trent, a man known for his patience, wisdom, and dedication to peace. He was widely respected, not only on Earth, but by those few alien factions who admired humanity's optimism and resilience. To Earth, Ambassador Trent was more than a diplomat. He was a symbol of their earnest desire for understanding and coexistence. The Galactic Empire, however, had little interest in peace. As Ambassador Trent entered the opulent halls of the Empire's council, there was an air of disdain among the alien dignitaries. They looked upon him with thinly veiled contempt, sneering at his calm, measured demeanor. The Empire's representatives didn't hide their amusement, seeing humanity's reliance on diplomacy as a sign of weakness. To them, might made right, and Trent's insistence on words over weapons only underscored humanity's inferiority in their eyes. The meeting began with polite exchanges, though tension simmered beneath the surface. Ambassador Trent spoke eloquently, advocating for mutual understanding, cooperation, and an end to the aggressive expansion that had brought the Empire to humanity's doorstep. His words were met with condescending smiles and cryptic responses, leaving him wary but undeterred. He had faced skepticism before and believed that reason and compassion could break through even the hardest facades. But as the talks dragged on, something fell off. The Empire's leader, High Chancellor Varix, exchanged whispered words with his advisors, casting glances toward Trent with thinly veiled hostility. The diplomat's instincts prickled. The air felt heavy, almost oppressive. Yet, he pressed on, speaking of shared prosperity, of peace as a means to further the Empire's influence, without bloodshed. The High Chancellor's face twisted in something between disgust and amusement, a mocking smile playing at his lips. Then, without warning, the atmosphere shifted. Varix stood abruptly, his tone chilling as he accused Trent of insolence. He declared that humanity's plea for peace was nothing but a ploy, a cover for cowardice. With a wave of his hand, guards moved forward, encircling the ambassador. Trent's composure wavered as he realized the true intent behind the meeting. Not diplomacy, but a display of power. In a swift, brutal motion, the guards seized him. Ambassador Trent, unarmed and defenseless, tried to appeal to reason, to remind them that his presence was a gesture of goodwill. But his words fell on deaf ears. The guards forced him to his knees, and in a cold, calculated act meant to send a message to humanity, the High Chancellor ordered his execution. Before he could utter another word, Trent was struck down, his life extinguished in a single merciless blow. Back on Earth, news of Ambassador Trent's murder spread like wildfire. Shock gave way to disbelief, then to a wave of grief and rage that swept across the planet. Trent had been a beloved figure, a symbol of humanity's hope for peace. His death wasn't just an insult. It was an assault on everything humanity stood for. Within hours, humanity's leaders convened, their faces hardened with a grim resolve. They had extended their hand in peace, and it had been bloodily slapped away. Now, there was only one response left. In an unprecedented move, humanity declared a full-scale war against the Empire. No longer willing to tolerate arrogance and oppression, Earth's leaders issued a statement to the galaxy, declaring that the murder of Ambassador Trent was an act of war, an attack on all who sought peace. They called on the galaxy to witness their decision, framing it as a stand not just for humanity, but for justice itself. Across Earth, the call to arms was met with fervor. People of every nation, every background, united in their outrage and determination. Factories repurposed for military production, scientists and engineers working around the clock to bolster humanity's defenses and offense capabilities. Humanity, known for its resilience and ingenuity, had been pushed to the brink. This time, they would not hold back. The news of Ambassador Trent's death sent shockwaves across the galaxy, and alien governments scrambled to understand humanity's reaction. The galactic community, used to seeing humans as advocates for diplomacy and cooperation, braced for impact. Some species, accustomed to the Empire's aggression, assumed Earth would issue condemnations but ultimately retreat. After all, who would dare go to war against the Empire? But there were those who saw something different. A few alien factions, previously oppressed or threatened by the Empire, watched humanity's response closely. Many had admired humanity's adaptability and strength, even if they hadn't openly aligned with them. Now, seeing the flagrant insult the Empire had made, these factions felt a glimmer of hope. If anyone could stand up to the Empire, it might be the humans. Whispers began circulating among sympathetic leaders and commanders who privately applauded humanity's anger and wished for the Empire's downfall. Back on Earth, the reaction was immediate and fierce. Grief transformed into an unyielding resolve that swept from leaders to civilians alike. Earth's political and military leaders, once focused on peace talks, now convened with a singular purpose. There was no hesitation, no room for further diplomacy. The Empire had crossed a line. The decision was unanimous. Humanity would respond with the full weight of its military might, rallying resources, intelligence, and technology for the war to come. For the first time in history, the nations of Earth stood entirely united under a common banner, fueled by a shared fury. Within hours, factories repurposed for wartime production roared to life. Engineers and scientists began working day and night, upgrading weapons, enhancing spacecraft, and designing new defense systems. Human creativity, once channeled toward growth and prosperity, now focused on strategies of offense and survival. Around the world, soldiers were called to arms, and civilians volunteered for service in droves. Humanity's military and technological assets, once scattered across various sectors, were now concentrated into a single, unstoppable force. When the war declaration came, it was broadcast to the entire galaxy. Earth's representative, a figure of solemn dignity, addressed not only the Empire, but every known civilization in the stars. The message was simple yet powerful. Humanity would no longer stand as passive witnesses to the Empire's injustices. The representative spoke of strength, of honor, of the blood that had been spilled unjustly. Humanity had offered its hand in peace, and the Empire had responded with violence. The words resonated with resolve, a promise of justice for Ambassador Trent's death. The speech ended with a clear message. The time for talk was over. Humanity would make their stand, and the galaxy would bear witness. Within days, humanity's forces launched their first coordinated strikes. The Empire's outlying stations, once safe and unchallenged, found themselves under assault. Human ships moved with calculated precision, tearing through supply lines and communication hubs. Armed with strategies based on intelligence gathered over years, humanity struck where the Empire least expected. What began as surgical strikes quickly escalated, as Earth's forces pushed deeper into the Empire's defenses. The Empire, accustomed to obedience and subjugation, was caught off guard. Human ships, smaller but more agile, operated with an efficiency and ruthlessness the Empire hadn't anticipated. These were not the passive diplomats the Empire had sneered at. These were warriors, striking with a purpose and unity that left the Empire's commanders scrambling. The first skirmishes were swift and brutal. Empire fleets fell back, their traditional tactics failing against humanity's relentless and adaptive approach. For every counter the Empire attempted, humanity's forces responded with ruthless precision, hitting supply lines, crippling outposts, and leaving entire fleets stranded. Humanity's message was clear. They would not stop until justice was served. In the eyes of the galaxy, humanity's transformation was astonishing. The once peaceful diplomats had become a force to be reckoned with, a people who demanded respect through strength. Humanity's assault was unlike anything the Empire had ever faced. Earth's military quickly demonstrated a level of adaptability and innovation that shattered any preconceptions about human weakness. Utilizing their vast knowledge of technology, humans devised an intricate network of cyber warfare systems capable of infiltrating and disrupting the Empire's communication lines and tactical networks. As the Empire scrambled to restore order, human forces took advantage, executing flawless guerrilla tactics that targeted high-value locations and crippled vital infrastructure. Earth's military engineers had upgraded their fleets with newly developed weapons that combined raw firepower with pinpoint precision. Plasma cannons with advanced targeting algorithms, drones equipped with adaptive AI, and powerful electromagnetic disruptors became the backbone of Earth's fleet, giving humans a terrifying advantage. Special operations units spearheaded these assaults, moving with stealth and efficiency, striking critical targets deep within enemy territory. Supported by AI-driven strategies that adapted to the Empire's defensive maneuvers in real time, humanity's forces executed complex assaults that left no room for counteraction. On the ground, the Empire's soldiers soon learned that they were facing warriors of unmatched resolve. A pivotal battle took place on Draxos 3, a fringe planet known for its harsh terrain and strategic value as a staging ground for Empire troops. As human forces made landfall, the Empire's soldiers prepared for an easy victory, believing humans to be outmatched. But humanity's soldiers arrived with coordinated shock and awe tactics, blitzing the Empire's entrenched positions with relentless precision. Human troops pressed forward, their training and discipline evident in every step, every maneuver. They advanced through the unforgiving terrain, using every advantage the environment offered, turning the Empire's own traps against them. Human ingenuity in combat was on full display. Smaller squads used swift hit-and-run tactics, snipers exploited vantage points with deadly accuracy, and engineers repurposed captured equipment into makeshift but effective defenses. Meanwhile, heavy assault units moved with relentless force, breaking through the Empire's ranks and pushing them back inch by inch. Human forces fought with grit and resolve, refusing to yield even when outnumbered. The Empire's troops, used to easy victories, began to falter. They were unprepared for the sheer tenacity and willpower of their human adversaries. The brutality of close combat skirmishes left them shaken. Human soldiers fought with a determination that overwhelmed even the most seasoned Empire warriors. Every attempt to regroup was thwarted by human strategies that adapted to counter their every move, creating a relentless momentum that the Empire couldn't contain. Word spread quickly among Empire ranks about the humans' uncanny ability to exploit weaknesses and shift tactics with astonishing speed. Panic began to ripple through the Empire's commanders. The early arrogance and confidence faded as reports of human victories mounted. The high-ranking officials who had dismissed humanity as a minor threat were now at each other's throats, blaming one another for underestimating the human forces. Desperation set in, and Empire leadership clashed over how best to respond to this unanticipated threat. But even as they fought, humanity never lost sight of its principles. In the wake of victory, human soldiers took care to spare civilians caught in the crossfire. On Draxos 3, After routing the Empire's forces, they went out of their way to ensure the safety of alien non-combatants who had been abandoned by the Empire. Human medics tended to wounded prisoners, a show of mercy that surprised even those who had been taught to fear and despise humans. They rescued captives and provided food and water to innocents, setting an example that contrasted sharply with the Empire's harsh policies. For every battle they won, humanity left a legacy of honor. Their might was tempered by compassion, even in the heat of war. This was not merely an invasion. It was a mission driven by justice, with humanity standing as a beacon of strength and conscience in a galaxy overshadowed by the Empire's cruelty. As the Empire struggled to maintain its fractured confidence, rumors spread of humanity's kindness as well as their might, forcing the galaxy to reconsider what it meant to face humanity, not just as soldiers, but as defenders of a higher standard. The Empire, reeling from unexpected losses, knew they had to strike back hard or risk losing control of the outer systems. Desperation crept into their ranks, and the once calm Empire leaders now resorted to brutal measures. They deployed their elite forces, highly trained and ruthless units known for leaving no survivors. These squads were sent to reclaim territories and crush humanity's forces with overwhelming firepower, and they didn't hesitate to use indiscriminate tactics. Civilian casualties rose as the Empire disregarded any pretense of honor, turning the war into a savage conflict. Humanity, used to defending with precision, now found themselves facing a level of ruthlessness that led to some of their first serious losses. Human forces regrouped, stunned but not broken. They analyzed every move, quickly adapting to the Empire's harsh tactics. Earth's leaders and military strategists redefined their approach, countering the Empire's brutality with strategic finesse. Humanity's adaptability shone as soldiers and officers pushed their technology and tactics to new limits. Skilled operatives devised new defenses against the Empire's elite forces, and ground units adjusted their formations, finding ways to absorb the attacks while minimizing casualties. Humanity's morale remained unbroken, bolstered by their core belief in the justice of their cause. The sacrifices were many, and the losses hit hard. Human soldiers knew the stakes, and their actions showed a courage and commitment that inspired everyone. Many risked their lives to save comrades, with some paying the ultimate price to protect others. These acts of heroism resonated deeply with their fellow soldiers, adding a solemn weight to every victory. The cost of the war was real, and every soldier understood what they were fighting for. Humanity's struggle wasn't just about territory or power. It was about holding to a higher purpose. Amid the escalating conflict, the legacy of Ambassador Trent echoed in the hearts of humanity's warriors. The Diplomat's ideals and sacrifices hadn't been forgotten. Many soldiers remembered his belief in honor and integrity, even in the face of arrogance and hostility. His assassination had ignited a fire that pushed humanity to stand firm, and his memory served as a guiding light. For every battle won, soldiers and commanders alike held onto his vision of a galaxy where peace and respect could exist. They fought not with hatred, but with determination, making sure their actions honored the legacy of the man who had sought a peaceful path. The conflict reached a critical juncture during what would come to be known as the Battle of Galactic Unity, a fight that marked a definitive shift in the war. The battle unfolded on a contested world strategically located near critical Empire-controlled star lanes. The Empire had fortified the planet heavily, intending to make it a stronghold from which they could launch further assaults. But humanity saw this planet as a crucial target, a linchpin that could decide the fate of the war. In the lead-up to the battle, human forces coordinated an intricate assault, mobilizing fleets from various systems and rallying ground units. Commanders synchronized their tactics with unmatched precision, preparing for the heaviest resistance they had yet encountered. The Empire's elite troops held the planet with layers of defenses, but humanity pressed forward, undeterred by the dangers. Fierce exchanges lit up the skies, and the ground was rocked by the clash of armor and artillery. The Empire's forces fought to the last, but humanity's resolve proved unstoppable. The victory was hard-won, but it marked a decisive turning point. News of the battle spread rapidly through the galaxy, signaling that humanity was no longer fighting on the defensive. They were securing true footholds in the Empire's territories. This victory wasn't just a military win. It sent a powerful message. Humanity, once seen as mere diplomats and peacekeepers, had proven themselves as formidable warriors with a sense of justice and strength that could inspire others. Seeing humanity's success, alien factions who had long harbored resentment toward the Empire began to rally. They reached out to human commanders, offering support in the form of resources, intelligence, and in some cases troops. Inspired by humanity's resilience and integrity, these alien allies pledged to join the cause, seeing it as more than just a war. It was a stand against oppression and arrogance. As humanity's forces closed in on the Empire's capital, the galaxy watched, holding its breath. Earth's military, forged in the crucible of war and honed by endless battles, approached the final stronghold with a disciplined precision that spoke of their commitment to see justice served. The Empire's once proud fleet, now fractured and demoralized, struggled to mount a defense, knowing they faced an enemy who had proven both unbreakable and relentless. The soldiers who had once mocked humanity now saw them with a mixture of awe and fear. Humanity's strength, forged in the name of honor and justice, shone through as they advanced, determined to put an end to the Empire's cruelty once and for all. In the Empire's inner halls, leaders held tense meetings, realizing that defeat was no longer a possibility. It was a certainty. Their former arrogance had evaporated, replaced by a sobering understanding of the consequences of their actions. With their forces dwindling and their territories collapsing, the Empire's leaders were left with no choice but to consider surrender. Negotiation proposals were drawn up, messages were sent, and finally, humanity's commanders received the formal offer of surrender from the Empire's rulers. In the negotiations that followed, humanity's leaders did not gloat or demand excessive tributes. They had come for justice, not dominance. The terms were clear and uncompromising. The Empire would recognize humanity's sovereignty, pay reparations for the diplomat's murder, and adopt a policy of respect toward Earth and its allies. This would not be a subjugation, but a reckoning, a chance for the Empire to reform, if they were willing. Humanity's leaders extended a vision of peace through strength, establishing that Earth would not tolerate further aggression, but would work with any willing to live in mutual respect. As the war ended, humanity took a collective breath, aware of the price they had paid. They honored their fallen, building memorials to those who had sacrificed their lives, from soldiers to the diplomat whose murder had ignited the conflict. The memory of Ambassador Trent's mission lived on as a reminder of why they had fought, not for conquest, but for the preservation of dignity and justice. Humanity had learned the weight of war and was determined to remember it, refusing to let the victory tarnish their ideals. Across the galaxy, alien civilizations took note. Humanity had demonstrated a remarkable capacity for both strength and restraint, leaving even former enemies with a sense of respect for their new power. Earth had earned its place as a force to be reckoned with, its people respected as fierce defenders of peace and justice. Those who once underestimated humanity now saw them with a newfound reverence, understanding that Earth was not just a young world. It was a stalwart protector of dignity in a universe that often lacked it. In the aftermath, a new era began. Humanity's influence spread, but they remained vigilant, upholding the values that had carried them through the darkest days. The galaxy came to know Earth as a bastion of strength balanced by compassion, and peace through honor became their legacy. And as they looked toward the stars, humanity knew that they had not only defended their place in the galaxy, but had earned the respect and loyalty of those who valued justice. A future of hard-won respect lay ahead, one that would honor the sacrifices and values of those who had fought for a peaceful galaxy.